Have you ever heard people buying properties for just a few $1,000s, which is buying properties for its taxes? Today, we have Mr. Ron Orr in the studio. He's an expert at buying tax certificates. And today, we're going to pull the curtain back on how do you buy tax certificates and how do you invest in them. So having said that, Ron, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Hey guys, today we're diving deep into the tax sales, tax certificates, and we're going to kind of clear up all the myths that exist. So we have an expert, Mr. Ron Orr. So Ron, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So great to have you because this is one of those most misunderstood type of topics. So let's jump right into it. So where did you get, or when did you get started, let's say?
1987 or 1988. My father was really in the tax sale since 67.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when I quit college, I had gone to work for him and started doing tax sale servicing for my father.
Okay. So when we talk about tax sales, we're talking about real estate tax sales, right? There's a huge confusion between, hey, I bought a tax certificate, right? It's easy to buy.
Correct.
Anybody can buy it. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, you could buy a tax certificate. And they think we get a property, like you get a deed to the property.
Correct.
So in very simple way, how would you explain that? What's the process?
Okay, so the process after the list comes out and you have to register for the sale. You find the PIN numbers that you want to bid on. If you're the successful bidder, interest rate does start at 18 and goes down to 0. If you're the successful bidder of that certificate, if it's an owner-occupied property, you cannot go to deed in less than 2.5 years. In commercial, I believe now there's some rule where it's a year, and in many cases, a tax buyer does extend it past that year period. However, 2.5 years minimum for residential properties, occupied or not.
Okay, minimum for a residential property.
Correct.
Okay, so that's the biggest thing. Number one is people think when I'm buying a certificate, I'm getting a deed to the property.
No, you're not. No.
Right? It's a long process to go.
That's
okay?
right.
So let's talk about, I'm going to kind of back up and just walk through it step by step. That basic process, obviously it's going to depend county to county, state to state, but the basic process is pretty similar around the country.
Correct.
Right?
That's correct.
Okay.
They give so much time for redemption period.
For redemption period. Correct. So what happens is that somebody has not been able to pay their taxes for whatever reason,
Correct.
right? The county is going to put the taxes up for sale. They publish a list you were talking about.
Right.
And there's different means of registering for that particular auction.
Yes.
You register for it, and then you're going to go and bid, right?
Correct.
So now that's where the second question comes in, because this is the second confusion. What is the interest rate that you can get potentially in Illinois?
18%.
18%.
Correct.
And I said potentially.
Correct.
What is the reality that you actually get at the sale?
To want to do volume in the tax sale or even buy anything that would be a desirable parcel, you have to bid 0.
You have to. Why?
Because there's more money in the room than there are parcels to be sold.
So you were giving me an example.
Right.
Can you kind of explain
Yes,
that
so there's
again?
150 people that register for the sale.
Sure.
And let's just say there's $150 million being able to be spent.
Sure.
There's only maybe $30 million of delinquent parcels.
Right.
So what that does is drive down the rate.
Right. It's simply supply and demand.
Correct.
Okay. And is it a randomized system? Because you may have 10 people that want to bid on the same parcel. So how does it work that who's supposed to get it?
That's a good question. And I have to tell you, it's very fair. So let's just say me and you were the only two to register for the sale. And there was 100 parcels.
Right.
We would come if we bid on all 100 parcels, you would get close to 50 and I would get close to 50. Maybe it would be one off or another.
Okay.
It's because I have they're not competitors, friends in the industry that do bid, obviously over the years, acquaintances that spend the same type of money and they bid on the same type of parcels and had close to the same outcome of certificates after the sale.
Got it.
So it's very fair by the county, I do have to say that. I like the open outcry system better because you could read the room You could buy a parcel like this office building. The taxes would be more money. And then the next volumes to come, you could hang back a little bit if you spend too much.
Got it.
It's a little bit easier for you to judge, what you're able to spend.
Okay, got it. So in this case, it's kind of a randomized system, like a computer assigns it sort of
Correct.
thing. Okay.
Correct. It's all computerized.
Yeah, but I mean, you're saying whenever it was kind of the open bidding, which we would do, right, on a
Like the
sheriff's
auction.
sale,
Yes.
where you're kind of seeing, okay, man, that Ron, I know he likes to buy flip properties. I don't like to really buy those. I like to buy certain rental properties, right? So then I can make my bids accordingly.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
And everyone kind of had their niche
Sure.
a little bit, so it was easier with the open outcry system. But going back to what you were saying, within that 2.5 years, when the people even think that the deed, a lot of bidders, first-time bidders think the deed process is not so long, there's multiple notices and services that have to go out during that time.
Okay, got it.
And the first one is within a few months of the sale. And if you blow that, the certificate is worthless.
So it's very timeline sensitive.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say I buy the property, right? I mean, so I should correct that. I buy the certificate.
Correct.
And at that point, do you handle, now obviously you've been doing it for years, right? 30 some plus years.
Right.
Do you handle serving all the notices properly, making sure, or do you have an attorney that you work with that handles that?
We have an attorney that we work with.
Okay.
And depending if I'm the successful bidder of a certificate or I buy a certificate from somebody else,
Okay.
because we have a relationship with other buyers and attorneys, I'll use possibly the attorney that already has the certificate. But I always recommend it if someone buys even one certificate or many, you want an attorney that's in that industry.
Yeah, and that specializes in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I mean that is not somebody, just your average Joe Blow, the greatest real estate attorney. If they don't deal with that ins and outs
That's correct.
every day, you
I
do
tell
not want to
people
go
all
there.
the time because they need to have the right template, and these guys been doing it for years. The attorney. So
Yeah. No, I mean it's like you don't go to the greatest heart surgeon to get a brain tumor removed, right?
Correct.
Because both of brains are important and hearts are
Yeah,
important,
and they
but you
specialize
need
in
a
their own.
specialist that deals with that particular thing all the time. Correct.
Correct.
Okay. So in that case, now what is the long-term play? Because a lot of times, I mean, I see this all the time, right? Tax certificate seminar, tax lien seminar,
Right.
right?
I see it on
and
TV.
coming to town, I bought this property behind me for $2,000, right? And it's like, come on, right? I mean, this is not how it works, right?
Correct.
But in all fairness, there are properties that people will lose
Yes.
to taxes. So let's just kind of make a hypothetical scenario, right? Of something that people may understand, right? So say by Midway, Archer Heights kind of thing, you have a small little ranch, right? Somebody's older or whatever, property goes into probate type of situation, taxes are not paid.
Yes.
Right? Ron, you are the buyer for that certificate.
Okay.
Right? And you bought, let's roll the clock back a little bit. You bought, say, 22 taxes, the first installment of taxes.
Okay.
Right? Now, what happens when the second installment of taxes comes up?
It's a good question. So when the second installment comes out, if the owner doesn't pay it, he still reserves the right to pay it.
Sure.
If the owner does not pay that second installment, we reserve the right then to pay and post that to our tax sale. And I believe now that earns 9% a year. So if you average out
meaning you do.
correct.
Okay, got it.
When you purchase at 0 and you post at 9,
Right.
you're averaging 4.5. Then you kind of could break that profit on the second one,
Sure.
and that's from the first day up to 365. It's compounded right from day one.
Got
the
it.
9%. So a lot of people will redeem that early.
Sure.
Which then that interest percentage rate's a little higher.
Got it. Okay. So you have the option to go pay that.
Correct.
Right? And now, so basically, it's almost like you have the first right of refusal.
Correct.
Since you bought the
cert.
taxes.
That's correct.
The cert. Okay, got it. Now, let's say you bought the second installment at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So Ron is the owner of the first tax certificate, 22.
Correct.
Second tax certificate. What happens at 23?
If the owner does not pay that, I believe it's 30 days. It has to be delinquent from when it comes out. Then you have the right to pay and post that to your sale and add that on to your original sale as well. So if the taxes are $1,000 every installment, so $2,000 a year to keep it simple, you would have the first sale at $1,000 that you were a successful bidder, posted the second installment of 22, then post 1,000 of the 2023,000. So now you're 3,000 base plus interest.
Of course. Got it. So would the play be for you, because you know, okay, it's a good location, right? Property's decent, right? And that bet can't go wrong.
No.
Right? That's a good bet. Right, from a standpoint of if you're a betting man, right? There's no risk to it, basically.
Correct.
It's just that if it doesn't get redeemed, right, you're golden, right? So would you go and buy that from a strategic standpoint as a business owner?
From the owner?
No,
during that period?
What I mean is, just would you go ahead and keep paying the taxes?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're going to pay, you paid the 22, the first installment, second installment, third installment.
23.
And then during that entire time, you have to post notices at a given period to any and all owners, occupants, beneficiaries connected to that property.
Mortgages, correct.
Mortgages. Okay,
Correct.
got it.
And everybody needs to have attempted service, certified mail, law bulletin, and there's a lot of steps that go behind it for it to have a successful, it's called a COTD case.
Okay, got it. And because that has to come up at, probably there is some sort of a prove up.
Correct.
Right?
The prove update.
The prove update where, I mean, same
Kind of
thing,
like auction.
like an auction, right?
Correct.
Where you're going to prove up, meaning for people listening, you're basically just presenting the thing in front of the judge. Hey, did you do this correctly, this correctly, this correctly, this correctly, this correctly? If somebody challenges it, then they're like, no, judge, this was, and the judge is going to make sure that you actually did everything by the book.
Correct. Right. And if no one shows up, it's always a little bit easier.
Sure.
If somebody shows up, the court definitely takes their position serious. If they show up with an attorney, my dad used to say there's a flaw in every case.
Right.
So there probably is a flaw in every case.
Sure. No, I mean, if you go finding, some sort of an issue, and is it like with foreclosure cases, a lot of times people come over there, bitch and moan, right? And it's bullshit. The judge knows it's bullshit.
Right.
But the judge is always going to kind of have a soft spot for them and kick it down the road.
Correct.
30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
Give them a lot of
just
time.
Because.
I've been told in the past, Mr. Orr, why don't you go in the room there with your attorney and and they go in with their attorney and you try to work this out.
Yeah.
That's like a cue, like to say,
that, hey, try to settle
right.
it.
Otherwise, you might get nothing, Mr. Orr. So I saw you. I've settled a lot of them. Right. One case that comes up often, which is I had this happen. Somebody paid their tax bill late on a larger tax bill, like says $20,000 a year. The interest accrued for paying it late, it didn't go to sale yet, was say $500. That $500 got sold, and that 2.5 years down the road, that person said, I'm not going to lose my property for $500. It wasn't owner occupied though, so that was a good thing. And he ended up losing the property and he paid all the subsequent taxes. So you always want to make sure that your tax bill is paid. Even if a bank pays it in escrow, you want to look online to make sure they didn't pay it not even a day late.
Got it. Okay. So that makes sense. So now, from a standpoint, to go back to kind of the example we were talking about, right? Property around Midway, good area, desirable area, and you've paid 2-3 years worth of, say 2 years worth of taxes. Okay. You as the tax certificate owner, buyer, you've been doing everything by the book. What is the soonest that you can hope to take that cert to deed?
Okay. So again, 2.5 years from the date of sale, that's statute.
Okay, that's statute,
for this
2.5
house,
years.
Right, 2.5 years, occupied or not. So at the 2-year mark, you start doing your diligence.
Got it.
So it has to be done within 5 months of the last day of redemption. I think now they extended it a little longer. So at the 2-year mark, you start working on that 22 certificate, all those files, the owners, the estates, finding out who's interested parties. And then at the 2.5-year mark, the last day of redemption comes up. Let's say it goes by. There's the first assignment court date, which is in the notice that they get served with. Mm-hmm. That assignment court date is the first call and then it gets assigned out again for a prove update. So it could very well be 6 to 8 weeks past the last day of redemption before you even have a prove update to get attempt to get your tax deed.
Got it. So I'm going to pull you back just a little bit. Okay. You mentioned that 2 years into the process, you do your diligence.
Correct.
Right? You're talking about due diligence.
Correct.
Okay. What does that exactly entail?
Owners, occupants, title search to see who has an interested party.
Got it.
A visual of the property.
Got it.
Check probate estate.
Got it.
And that information needs to be timely as to the last day of redemption. Has to be within a window. The judge and the cases, the judge and the state, they know that you can't do it a day before the last day of redemption. It's not realistic.
Right.
But within 3 to 5 months, that diligence has to be current. So as for a commercial property with a store, if it was ABC Cleaners and I was lazy and I went there to take a picture too early, brought that information to my attorney saying, yeah, it's good, it's ABC Cleaners. But 3 months later, it's a chicken place.
Yeah, sure.
That they could walk into court and say that chicken place opened on X date and that the deed should be overturned.
Got it.
So the due diligence has to be done timely as well.
Got it.
And again, when the last day passes, you have an initial court date for an assignment, then an official prove-up date, and if you get past that, usually you get the deed if nobody shows up, and again, your case is done correctly.
Got it. That makes sense. So basically, now, would I be correct to assume, because this is the other part of it a lot of times people don't understand, that they'll give me an example of, I'm in Kansas City, middle of nowhere, right? This property I bought, man, for $3,000. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, because the reason is there was more cows than people.
Correct.
Nobody wants the damn property. No, Andrew, you don't understand. I'm like, no, it's simply, listen, you're middle of Cook County or you're middle of DuPage County, right. $1 million neighborhood, and you want a house there for $10,000. Of course, you're not going to get it, or it's going to be extremely cumbersome. Right? And there's going to be a million competition.
Correct.
You're in the middle of nowhere, la land, where nobody gives a damn. It's a depressed area. Guess what? You probably will get a little bit higher interest rate, right? You will probably, nobody's going to redeem it, and you probably will get this property that is worthless to begin with.
The process is much easier as well.
So
everybody will help you with the process.
Yeah, exactly. Is that kind of basically easier to assume that if you're in Cook County, DuPage County, Kane County, Lake County, the more quote unquote higher population, desirable counties versus you go out in the middle of nowhere, Winnebago County, it's going to be less complex.
That's correct. And there's more to pick from, and there's a vast amount of land, like you had mentioned, that that parcel as well. So that's true, 100%.
And a lot of times that's where what example is given and how people kind of correlate it to their market is going to be very, very different.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That it's in the middle of boohoo land. And mind you, 95% of America is boohoo land, meaning that 95% of America is not occupied. Right? It's just
rural, most of it, yeah.
It's most of it rural. So you can actually go out to, and I always feel this way. People are like, well, I want to go invest in Cook County. I want to invest in, why?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you live out in Winnebago, man, stay
right there.
It's a small pond.
Yeah.
You can be the biggest fish. You can be a multi-gazillionaire because people are not going to be as sophisticated. Stay right there, right?
Right.
And you can do really well. It's not like you don't have to come and compete, but yet this level of sophistication, you're going to come and compete with the big boys in Chicago. It's going to be a hell of a lot different.
Yes, it is. And even on the MLS, I have a client that buys way out there. And we make offers on the MLS. It's so much easier. There's not bidding wars. No. Highest and best by 5 o'clock, so it's
No, a cost of doing business is cheaper.
Yes.
Right? Everything becomes that much more. And so a lot of this kind of the nuances, the court systems, all of this stuff, as you get to more populous counties, right, the bigger the system, the more the BS that goes with it.
Correct.
Right?
And expense as well.
And expense. So when you're thinking about you as a tax buyer, right? Because for a lot of people listening to this, they're like, oh my God, yeah, I'm going to be the next, quote unquote, buying properties from taxes, right? It sounds very sexy, it's very seductive. What would your advice be? Who should partake in something like this?
Well, you do need a large amount of money behind you and, funded. And there needs to be quite an infusion to have the proper setup.
Right. And so just because I have $200,000, this is not a game I'm going to go play.
And again, what did I say? 97% or 97 out of 100 usually get redeemed.
Right.
And you might end up not, with 3 parcels that weren't that great.
Right.
Or you bought them in error.
Sure.
So I would think for one individual, at a $500,000, one individual, if they were able to know the system, they could participate in the sale and create some action. Now, remember, 2.5 years for the first sale.
Right.
Then it's 2.5 years for the second one.
Yeah.
So if you're not in it at least 10 to 12 years to get a couple of cycles,
Sure.
you won't be successful at it either.
Right.
Now,
Yeah,
if you're
so
buying a side lot to your house,
Right.
because it's a 10-foot strip, and you call me and I get you the side lot for you, that's different. You're batting 1,000. You got your one parcel.
Right.
But that's an isolated case.
Right. That's right. No, that makes sense. And a lot of times, I mean, from our perspective, whenever people come to us, they're trying to learn how to invest in real estate. I'm like, listen, stay away from tax certificates. I know they're seductive, but that's a long-term play.
Yes.
And you need some serious money. Now, mind you, you just want to buy something for shits and giggles, right? And a lot of times in kind of some of the Midwestern states, right? Kansas City, there's that. Some places, St. Louis, right? People love that whole St. Louis nonsense. They're like, oh man, I bought this house. I got it for like $3,000. I'm like, well, how did it turn out? He's like, well, I've never been there. I'm like, why? Well, you need a gun. I'm like, exactly, right? I'm like, you got the damn, but I got 2 houses, Andrew. I'm like, you just can't go to it.
Yeah,
right. Because it's such a hellhole, right? I'm like, why do you think you got it? They're like, oh yeah, I never thought about it. I'm like, I mean, it's not like you're just getting something for free, man, right? But so, and we've always said that there's a lot of opportunity if you basically go look at tax certificates that have not been redeemed and that are going to go to deed. Right?
Correct.
Because that list is published also.
Correct.
Right. So specifically for you as an investor, what is kind of the play? How do you look at it that, okay, obviously you want the house in the long run, right? But you're able to also collect some interest whenever you're buying kind of the second installment, third installment, fourth installment.
You do make some interest back, correct?
Some interest back. Okay. So how do you look at it as from a standpoint of investing?
Well, I do all my own servicing, and I do have a lawyer, obviously, for the notices and the legal part. Everything else is done in-house. So you're hoping to break even on your cost of money with all the redeemed ones.
Sure.
Break even.
Right.
And then if you do have a few parcels left that don't redeem and go to deed, some you might have to work out with an owner. Some maybe are not occupied, so you get lucky. And then you flip those out and sell them.
Got it.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
To have a few left over where tax deeds, and if you're not in it, then if you don't bid on them, you can't get any.
Got it.
And so, but a lot of the years break even until when you have so many sales, every 6 months they're coming up though.
They're coming
so
up,
it helps a little bit when you do a little volume.
Sure. Right. And you've been in the business for a long time, obviously.
Yes.
So there's a rhythm to it. There's a momentum to it. Interest rates fluctuations, that helps. Market fluctuations, that helps, obviously.
Correct.
Right. Okay. So in terms of whenever you basically finally take the property to deed, right? Is it true that at that point you're looking to dump the property to a bona fide purchaser, or you're going to try to do quote unquote a fix and flip?
Mostly, you want to sell it to find a bona fide purchaser.
Okay.
It's always a lot cleaner.
Okay.
Once you become in the chain of title, let's just take Cicero, for instance.
Sure.
You have to go to the village hall, have to get an exempt stamp, pay the water, board up fees, lead liens. So now you're more involved, which means then your sale price has to be more.
Got it.
So a lot of times we do flip out of them fast. And now recently, since they're occupied, and some of them, and the laws have changed a lot, we do try to work out with a lot of owners.
Okay.
So some of them, even before worrying about flipping them and or fix and flip, we have to deal with the situation that's there.
Got it. So you're not
Could be there.
But you're not selling that deed as is, occupied, that sort of thing?
Most of the time, no.
Most of the time, no. Okay.
We
because
used to.
Used
a
to.
lot.
Okay.
And now we don't as much. We nurture them. I use the word nurture because you're seeing it to now another level about the possession part.
Got it. Because your price is going to go up much more.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
And
you
we
get
might
it-
have to buy it actually from the person living there. Or
Sure. Got it. And what happens to any of because Chicago is kind of notorious with this outrageous water bills and all these crazy things. What happens to that sort of thing?
Okay. Good question. So mortgages get wiped out.
Sure.
Water bills get wiped out.
Okay.
Federal liens do not. So
Federal liens do not.
Do not. You serve them. However, they could extend the period and have a little bit of time to be able to let the people redeem, or the government maybe would step in if there's a federal, or if there's a seizure lien against it for a seizure. And so in medical, some of the medical liens do not fall.
Okay.
But water bills get wiped out. Now, the suburbs do not want to agree with this.
Got it.
And they always push back.
Okay.
So I go to Homewood, have a house, $4,000 water bill, my tax deed wipes out the water. Well, sir, we're not wiping it out. So then I have to get the lawyer involved. He has to call legal at the Village of Homewood and get the water wiped out.
Got it. Okay.
But if you're buying vacant lots in Chicago or anywhere else, that demolition lien stands because it's a municipal lien. So that they're
Got it.
yeah.
Okay. So my understanding was that the tax lien is the most superior lien you can get, you can have.
Correct.
But still, there are other things that can basically be still pending on the property.
That's correct. If you're buying land in the city of Chicago, and I think even suburbs as well, if there's a demolition lien on it, and some of them are substantial,
Sure.
that you would have to pay that to get the tax deed.
Got it. Okay. So for you, do you only buy in Cook County or surrounding color counties in Chicago?
Okay, right now I only buy in Cook.
Okay.
I did participate in many years for all what I call all the collar counties: Will, Kane, Lake, McHenry,
Right.
DuPage.
Got it.
I found very few deeds at the time period I was in there
Sure.
bidding out in the collars. I found that we got very few deeds over but again, we only participated 4, 5, 6 years in a row. We should have stayed a lot longer. And I say we, I mean my dad at the time. So, but I do service
Right.
from Cook all the way to Winnebago, Rockford, Quincy. I've been in every county in the whole state.
Got it.
You talked about St. Louis.
Sure.
East St. Louis.
Right.
So I do service for attorneys and out of state investors as well.
Got it. Okay. So as far as are you biased in terms of buying most of these certificates in the city versus the suburbs? Does it matter? Do you prefer one versus the other?
I don't. I think that with the word portfolio, I think you have to diversify.
Okay.
So there's 601 volumes.
Okay.
Volume 1 is Barrington. Volume 601 ends like by Little Village and Pilsen. There's no rhyme or reason. I don't know how that ended that way.
Right.
And in between, it goes all the way around to every city in all of Cook County.
Okay.
So we buy almost in every volume.
Okay.
But you want to try because the county and the county portal has classifications, is there mortgages, foreclosures, liens. So we try to, and sometimes we do look them up, and you want to try to buy the better properties.
Got it.
But there's a lot of developers that would go for vacant land as well.
Okay, got it. And for you, is it like you're bidding on certain types of zoning type of land, type of properties, or are you basically just kind of bidding at random?
Random, but mostly infill, single lots.
Mostly infill.
Yes,
single
mostly
lots.
infill. Because again, I'm not a builder. Built a couple buildings a long time ago, but I'm not a builder. So to have vast parcels,
Sure.
not only are the property taxes more expensive, but it could come, demo liens could come. So I buy in areas where I know if there's a $20,000 demo lien on there, I'm still good.
Okay.
Even if I buy it in the blind. And the county classification is 1-00.
Got it.
Where single families and residential start with 2.
Sure.
So if it's 1-00 in a decent area where there's some activity, we will buy them in the blind. You couldn't possibly look at all of them.
Got it.
So we do buy in the blind.
Okay, got it. Okay. And then sometimes you're going to end up with some odd, weird triangle parcels. You're going to end up with some stuff which is junk.
Right.
Right.
Underwater, 10-foot strips.
Okay, that does happen.
It does happen, yes.
Okay, got it.
And so there is a law that enables what's called like a sale and error, or a VTS, or vacate tax sale.
Okay.
So your lawyer would prove why that's not a marketable title.
Got it.
And again, we don't want to buy with that, presuming that we could get our money back.
Sure.
And then once in a while, you do accidentally get caught off guard, and you go to deed on something, and you find out you made a mistake on it. And again, back to the process of the 2.5 years. If the last day of redemption goes by in February of this year, you have till February that same date next year to record your deed.
Got it.
So just because the last day goes by, that even has a time limit on it.
Okay, got it.
One
so you
full
have
year.
some time.
Correct. You have some time, but you can't go past that time.
Yeah, you can't go past that.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of get on it, get everything done
Within
get
the
it
1 year period.
Within the 1 year period,
And record it, right?
Got it. And is there, as far as because obviously there's vacant pieces of land that go, and then there are properties, there are single family houses or multifamilies and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Right. You're saying across the board, 97% of them get redeemed.
Yes.
Okay. So only 3% end up actually going to the certificate buyer.
Correct.
Got it.
And or make it to approve update.
And or
Whether
make
you get them past that is even probably a little less.
A little less.
Percentage,
okay.
yes.
So
much less, maybe.
what is kind of the profile of a tax certificate buyer? The typical people who are buying in volume.
They are real estate investors. A lot of them have backgrounds in different professions.
Sure.
And they have a good amount of money behind them.
Right.
Again, you're able to do this now, not being in Chicago.
Sure.
So the out-of-state buyers, they all know who to hire as far as attorneys.
Sure.
So they do go to someone that specializes.
Sure.
And I would say in the last 20 years, hedge funds and private equity made a big infusion too in a lot of ways. The names are, just random or 3 letters.
Right.
I don't know who most of them are.
Right.
And some of them have servicers
Right.
in charge of it. So there's 2 layers.
Right.
And a lot of times I will service the servicer by doing
right.
visuals, values, and door knocking.
Right. The reason I ask that is a lot of times it's not your, Mr. and Mrs. Jones
No.
that are buying these properties, right?
Correct. It used
just
to be.
because used to be, right?
Right.
But just because you're Mr. and Mrs. Jones sold a business for $1 million, this is not your this is not for them.
That's
It's a very
correct.
specialized type of business, and whenever companies are coming in, they're dumping 100 million, 50 million, 80 million into it, and they have a team of people.
Yes.
That they're processing this
Right.
like no tomorrow.
In many counties, too.
In many
Like in
counties,
DuPage, there aren't many tax deeds that usually go to deed.
Right.
So, but they buy in 100 counties,
Right.
from New Jersey to Arizona and
Right.
all in between.
Right.
So if Cook County doesn't make any money, even if they make a big splash,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Because they're making it in other markets.
Yeah, but I mean, for them, it's big volume, big numbers.
Correct.
Right, and that's not the game for the average real estate
No.
Joe.
No,
okay.
it's not.
Anything that I may have missed, Ron, because this is a very unique conversation that I've never had before on this side of real estate.
Well, one story was when we were talking about purchasing, I purchased a permanent index number. And when I went there, I thought it was a condominium parking spot, and it was actually for the flower beds, and it was only 4 foot wide. It had its own PIN number.
Oh, wow.
So I just want to, I guess to add to it, I just would say that there is just a lot of mistakes that happen and a lot of misrepresentation about the industry as a whole. And once in a while, you do end up with a decent property. But I think we covered it pretty much all. I love the business and second generation in it. So
Right. Your son is here
Yes.
in the studio, so
Yes.
that's good to see. What is your take in terms of where do you see the Chicago market? Because you're here. Are you guys mostly basically flipping these properties out? Do you guys hold properties as a family, as a business?
So both. And again, same thing with the portfolio and diversify a little bit.
Sure.
I have units with a partner. I do a few rehabs a year.
Sure.
Some with my family. And we do rotate in all kinds of different markets, mostly smaller, single family up to 6 flats.
Okay, got
And some rehab. So what I found is that most of the product that we buy on the back end, the retail value is down 10, 20% of what it was a few years ago because there's more of it now.
Sure.
And the construction costs are up.
Right.
So again, trying to do too much besides the tax sale and management and brokerage and stuff, you don't want to then get into rehabbing and then not knowing what you're doing as well, because and you do a lot of it, I'm sure. So you have to know your numbers there as well. But I find that the market's stabilizing now a little bit, where not every buyer's thinking if I hold it for a year, it's going to go up again.
Right, right.
So we have these nice upticks.
Right.
But also now I'm a little bit worried that we're going to have like a very, very slow next 6 months, for the retail side. But we keep plugging and you do the best you can.
Got it. And as far as you buy properties for rentals also?
Yes.
You do. Okay, got it. So you're kind of in both sides of it. You're flipping out some stuff and you're keeping some stuff for rentals.
Yeah, some we hold.
Some we'll hold for the long term.
Right.
Okay, great. This has been a great podcast. I think a lot of times we don't really get to dive in with anybody on this side of it, specifically somebody who actually is going to the tax sales, buying the certs, and it seems like a mystery. So today, for the audience listening, hopefully the mystery has been solved. Having said that, you're listening to Cashflow for Life with Andrew Holmes. Please like, love, and share. That's how we get to grow. If you haven't been, make sure you attend the next meetings that we have coming up. They're 100% free. You can attend either online or in person. Go to andrewholmesrealestate.com. Ron, thank you again, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
And see you guys soon.